Hello, today we're getting started with DMARC Analytics from GlockApps. After you activate DMARC Analytics on your account, you have to create a DMARC record for your domain by going to the Add Domain section. Now type your domain name and click Next. Now we can set up the different policies for your DMARC record and the advanced options for the alignment mode. But we'll talk about those soon. If you already have a DMARC record and DNS, our tool will inherit your pre-existing record and update it with special email addresses that point to GlockApps in order for our system to start receiving the DMARC reports for your domain. Our system will inherit the existing DMARC policy that's already implemented in your DMARC record. But if you're just starting with DMARC, we recommend setting up the none policy first. The non-DMARC policy is a monitoring mode. It only monitors. It means that email receivers will only send DMARC reports back to GlockApps, and you will have an understanding about how your domain is being used and how the emails sent on behalf of your domain are passing email authentication. The quarantine policy is the next level of DMARC protection. The quarantine policy tells email receivers to send the messages that failed DMARC email authentication to the junk or spam folder. It is recommended to set up the quarantine policy at a later stage, and only after you make sure that all emails that are sent by your legitimate email sources are passing SPF, DKIM, and DMARC authentication. And lastly, we have the reject policy, which is the highest level of protection. It tells email receivers to block any email that fails the DMARC email authentication. It is recommended to apply the reject policy only after you've used the none policy and the quarantine policy, and after you make sure that 99 to 100% of the email messages sent by your legitimate email sources are passing DMARC email authentication properly. The reject policy will protect your domain from spam and phishing email campaigns. If bad actors try to spoof your domain and try to send phishing or spam email campaigns on your behalf, email receivers will block those emails, protecting your domain's reputation. Therefore, the reject policy is the highest level of protection, and it is the ultimate goal of using DMARC Analytics. Now let's look at some of the other options. If you want to apply a different policy for your subdomains, you can set it up here. If you skip the setting, then your subdomains will simply inherit the same policy as your main domain. Next is the advanced options. Here you can set the alignment mode. It can be set to either strict or relaxed. By default, it is set to relaxed. The relaxed alignment mode means that the header from domain and the domain used in the DKIM signature and the domain used in the return path do not need to be an exact match. For example, you may send emails from the main domain like GlockApps.com, and your return path domain could be something like mail.glockapps.com. In the relaxed mode, the SPF alignment will pass. Initially, we recommend that you start with the relaxed alignment mode and only switch to strict after thorough testing. In the reporting section, you can see the email addresses that our tool adds to your DMARC record and where the aggregate reports and forensic reports will be sent to. When you're finished, click Next, and you'll receive the DMARC record created based on your settings. Click on the icon to copy the DMARC record and go to the DNS settings of your domain and paste the DMARC record to the DNS. Check your domain host's instructions to update DNS settings. If you already have a DMARC record in place, make sure to update it with the record created by our tool. When you are done, click I publish the record. This is how you can start monitoring your DMARC analytics after you add the DMARC record to your domain's DNS. After this point, You can start sending emails from their domain, and your email authentication data will be collected in the domain's overview dashboard in your GlockApps account. And that's all for now. Thank you for using DMARC Analytics from GlockApps. To learn more, visit the Help Center at GlockApps.com.